welcome to another math lesson. I hope you find this kind of fun. If nothing else, there's something to go wrong. You know it will, so I'll say something silly somewhere along the way. Today we're going to multiply and divide fractions. So let's start out with the easy stuff, right? Multiplying fractions. Super duper easy. I'm going to go through it really fast. You just multiply the numerators and then you just multiply the denominators. And what am I talking about? Well, we just go across. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 6 is 30. And reduce if possible. Well, guess what? 15 goes into 15 and 30. Goes into 15 once and in 30 twice. There we go. 1/2. We're done. It's that easy. Just multiply numerators and denominators. Let me show you another example. 4 times 4. Okay, we're going across here. 4 times 4 is 16. 8 times 6. Oh boy, I should have looked that one up. I think it's 56. Does that sound right, guys? Let me think. No, it's not 56. That's 7 times 8. Told you it would do something wrong. Let me think. 5 times 8 is 40, so 6 times 8 must be 48. Right? Okay. Now, that's not there because we need to simplify. So at the very least, you can recognize that 16 and 48 are both even numbers. So we could divide by 2. We could divide by 2 very easily. But what if you didn't want to have to do it a million times here? Well, okay, maybe not a million, but I very quickly can see that 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 48. 1 here and 2 there. So I can put this. Now I'm going to need to simplify a little further, I know. I didn't find the largest number that divides into both of them because I get to divide them again. 4/12 is also 2 even numbers. So I would divide both of them by 2, but you know what? I'm not going to fall for that again. I'm going to divide them both by 4. All right, 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. There we go. Now that I took a little longer than I needed to, but I wanted to show you. Even if you did it by the 2's, you would have a bunch more there, but you would eventually get there, even if you just kept dividing by 2's every time. Okay, so now your turn. Okay, you've got another one. Okay, we have a problem. Mrs. Costanzo had 3/4 of a pizza left, and she offers some to share it with Mrs. Paston. I guess I wasn't there. Whatever. All right, so she's going to give half of it to her, but how do you give half when you've got 3 pieces? Oh, yeah. So let's see. The math problem is she wants to take the 3/4 of a pizza and divide it by 2. Right? She wants to give half, which would mean divided by 2, right? Well, let me see if she cuts it up here like that, because if we took like all of the pieces and cut them in half, we could do that. If we didn't cut them yet, I mean, technically one of those pieces cut in half and then they each get a whole piece, but you know what? It's just easier for us mathematically to figure it out by cutting them all in half. Because here's something I want you to think about. She wants half of the 3/4, okay? Now when we look at this, you can see that there are how many pieces each they're going to get? They're going to get 3 pieces each out of the 6 that are left. But how many pieces were in that pizza altogether to start with? Well, it was an 8-slice pizza, right? It was an 8-slice pizza. So I want to show you, each of them are getting 3/8 of this pizza, right? Originally the pizza was a whole pizza, which was 8 slices. Okay, that's what we're calling it now, okay? 8 slices. And they're getting each half, so that means they're each getting 3 out of the 8 slices. Well, how does that work out when we do this division here? If we're getting 3 out of 8 slices, guess what we do? We are also multiplying by 1/2. Dividing by 2 is multiplying by 1/2. So we can rewrite this problem as 3/4 times 1/2. Look what I just did with that 2. I flipped it. I put it in the bottom of the denominator. It's called a reciprocal. All right, it's a reciprocal. And we'll get into that more of that later. But for now, just remember, we flipped it. Now we can multiply, and I can prove to you what we just showed in the little picture there. All right, they're getting 3/8 of the original pizza, each of them. Now we're going to multiply 3 across, and the 4 and the 2. And look at that. It matched the picture. Can you believe it? That's because math works, you guys. It really works. So here's another example. What we just figured out was that we can keep the first fraction. We got to change division to multiplication, and then we flip the second fraction. All right, you ready to see this? So here's our problem. 1/6 divided by 3/4. We're going to keep 1, going to change it, and we're going to flip it. So here's what happens. We're going to keep our 1/6. We're going to change our division to multiplication. Then we're going to flip the second fraction. When we do that, now all we have to do is multiply across. 1 times 4 gives us 4. 6 times 3 gives us 18. And we're almost done. Why do I have an equal sign there with nothing there? Because the next step is simplify it. And look, the 4 and the 8 are both even numbers. Divide both of them by 2, and we get 2/9. That wasn't so bad, now was it? All right, let's look at another one. Let's keep it, change it, flip it. Here's our problem. 2/3 divided by 3/8. We're going to keep the 2/3. We're going to change our division to multiplication. We're going to flip our second fraction. And now we can multiply straight across. I wanted to show you. I wanted to point it out. But of course, there we go. We can multiply straight across. Like this. Ta-da! 2 times 8, 3 times 3. We get 16/9. Why did I put that equal sign over there and there's nothing there yet? Well, let's see. They're not both even. They can't both be divided by 3. What's the deal? Well, sometimes we like them simplified into mixed numbers. Sometimes. So if we do, that's the mixed number answer. Okay? So sometimes we leave them as improper. Sometimes we want to change them into mixed numbers. Now, today's lesson is on changing mixed numbers. Okay? Today's lesson is dividing fractions. So here's 3 steps. That's it. Flip the second fraction and change it to multiplication. So we keep, change, flip. So that's 3 parts of number 1. We multiply, and then we reduce if we need to. We don't always have to do number 3. All right, so let's take a look at what happens here. Let me get my pen back. So before we can do any multiplying on this, we got to change division into multiplication. So I'm keeping the first fraction. I'm changing into multiplication, and I am flipping my second fraction. Wow, there we go. Okay, so now we do 8 times 5, which is 40. I think I mentioned that earlier. And we have 25 times 4, which is 100. Now let's figure out, what can we do to simplify 40 over 100? What number can divide into both of them? Well, they're both even. That's easy to tell. And we could do that, but if we divide by 2, we're going to be here a while because 40 is a pretty big number. So what about 10? If we divide them both by 10, that's easy, right? That's easy. Let's divide them both by 10 because look, they both end in 0, so that means they're divisible by 10. So 40 divided by 10 is 4, and 100 divided by 10 is 10. Oh, but now we've just got, what do we have? We have 2 even numbers. So let's divide them both by 10. I mean, by 2. We already did the 10, didn't we? Both of them by 2. And we get 2/5. There we go. Now, this is not hard. No, the spider isn't back, but my hair is tickling my neck. At least I don't think he's back. Okay. So let's take a look at one for you to do. Don't forget to simplify. Okay, number 4. I got a bunch for you today. I want you to practice a lot. Don't forget to flip, okay? Keep, change, flip, and then simplify. Okay, number 5. Don't forget, keep, change, flip, simplify. Oh, another one! Fooled ya. Yep. Okay, don't fall for this one. I wanted to review stuff we've done before. This is an addition problem, and the denominators are different. We did that in the last lesson, so don't multiply or divide this, okay? I want you to add this one. Okay, one more, I promise. This is the last one, but now you're going to subtract. And again, different denominators. I want to see if you remember what we did in the last lesson. Last problem, I promise. At least in the video here. Okay, you made it. This is the end. Whew. Didn't think we were going to make it, did we? Okay, so keep practicing. You're going to get really good at fractions. They're really not that big a deal. We live with fractions all the time. It's just the way it is. See you later. Thanks for watching.